Hey Book Dragons, welcome back to my channel. It is time for a book tag. Let's go. So today I am doing the Stephen King book tag. I was tagged in this by Baron over at Your Brain on Books. And if you have not checked out his channel, I highly recommend it. You're missing out. So find the link in the description below where you can check his videos out. And let's get right to the tag, guys. You know the drill for how to help support my channel here. So without further ado, we're going to get right to it. So the first question on this tag is, name your favorite Stephen King book or what book you want to start with. So I'm fairly new to Stephen King. I have only read It, and I started The Stand, and I've read about halfway through the Dark Tower series. So far, I have to say that my favorite book is Wizard and Glass. That is book 4 in the Dark Tower series. So by all accounts, from everything I've read, that is my favorite book so far that I've read. Yeah, so there's your answer there. Nightmares and Dreamscapes. Name a book that gave you nightmares or kept you up late at night. Well, that would be Shade by Chad Nicholas. I very rarely have nightmares from books. And I don't know if they were necessarily nightmares that I had, but his books definitely showed up in my dreams. And honestly, it's probably a toss-up between Nightmare and Shade. But I think Shade gave me more. So yeah, I would say that Shade takes the answer for this one. Joyland. Name a book that made you happy. That would be The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Oh my goodness, that book made me so happy. Just such a fun and cozy read. Absolutely loved it. Misery. Name a book that made you sad. Well, I absolutely loved this book, but it did make me sad, and that is Hyperion by Dan Simmons. Specifically, one character arc in the story really just tugged at my heartstrings, about a father and his young daughter who seems to be aging backwards, and he's losing her to time. It's just, oh my goodness, gut-wrenching. That book definitely made me cry. Cujo. Name your favorite animal companion. All right, so the Cinder Spires series by Jim Butcher, the first book in the series, actually the only book in the series right now, is called The Aeronaut's Windlass. And there is a clan of cats in The Aeronaut's Windlass led by Raoul, is the head cat's name. And Raoul is just an amazing animal companion. I had so much fun. I mean, he's by far my favorite character in that book. So if you have not checked that out, you need to read The Aeronaut's Windlass. It's a steampunk fantasy adventure, and it is oh so fun. Airships, piracy, you name it. It's just a lot of fun. But cats are where it's at. Dr. Sleep. Name a book that bored you to death or put you to sleep. Well, that would have to be Neuromancer. I forget the author's name now. Even I'll put it up here though. You'll see it here. But that book just absolutely bored me to death. I got 50% through it before I DNF'd it. But finally, I was just like, I can't keep this up. The Eyes of the Dragon. Name your favorite book or series with dragons. Well, that's an easy one. That would have to be A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. By far my absolute favorite series with dragons in it. 4 past midnight. Name a book you stayed up way too late trying to finish. Well, and honestly, there have been several books like this, probably, but the one that most recently comes to mind is The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. It's the third book in the Broken Earth trilogy. And that book, I just got to a point where I could not put it down, and it was getting too late to really be reading, but I stayed up to finish it anyway. So that's the most recent one that comes to my memory. End of watch. Name your favorite last book in a series. That would be Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. Not technically the last book in the series, because Lord of the Rings is not technically a series, but it was split up into a series, so I'm just going to go with it. We won't get into the technicalities of it here. Return of the King has to be my favorite. Outsider. Name your most unpopular opinion that makes you feel like an outsider. Well, that would be my opinion on Rage of Dragons. Rage of Dragons is a booktube darling, and it wasn't a horrible book. I just felt like it was mediocre at best, in my opinion. So, I don't know many people that share that opinion. So, yeah, I'm kind of an outsider on that. I know a few people, but not many. Rage. Name a book you rage quit or DNF'd. This is a tough one, and I don't know as I've really rage quit a book. I've DNF'd a few. I would say Perdido Street Station by China Miéville is probably the one that I was most disappointed to DNF, because I'd heard really good things about China Miéville. His storyline and plot just sounded really unique and different. So I was really pretty disappointed to be DNFing that one, but I wouldn't say I rage quit it. I just was like, oh man, this really sucks. I'm sorry I have to DNF it, but I did. So yeah. Different seasons. Name favorite seasonal book. Well, I would go with the 5th season because it has season in the title by N.K. Jemisin. But then I would be copying Baron, who tagged me in this video, and I'm not going to do that. I would say probably Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. It has a very, it has a very Christmassy kind of feel to it. Especially if you look at the cover of the illustrated edition. In fact, let me grab that here. Bear with me. As you can see, it has a very Christmassy feel to it on the front cover of the book. So, yeah, I guess I would pick that one. Okay, let us see here. Yes. Finders Keepers. Name your most prized, rare, or expensive book you own. So, the book that I paid the most money for probably would be the illustrated editions of Lord of the Rings with the illustrations by Alan Lee. So, and those I would say are probably my most prized as well. They're just gorgeous editions. So I don't know if I can get to them easily here, but they're on my bookshelf and they're in my bookshelf tour if you want to watch my bookshelf tours. Okay, let's see. Later. Name a book you keep putting off and telling yourself you'll read later. Well, that would be The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, book 2 in the Wheel of Time series. I do keep saying I'm going to get back to it, and I keep putting it off, and I don't know why. I'm not concerned about not liking it. I have read it before, but it's been years since I first read it, so I just keep telling myself I'll pick it up to reread it, and I haven't yet. So, yeah. Desperation. Name a new release that you're desperate to get your hands on. I don't know if I'm really desperate to get my hands on any one book in particular. Um, as far as new releases that are guaranteed, I would say Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. But I don't know as if I'm desperate to get my hands on it. Now, what I am desperate to get my hands on is books that we don't know when they'll be released, and that would be The Doors of Stone by Patrick Rothfuss or The Winds of Winter by George R. R. Martin. Those I'm desperate to get my hands on, but I don't know when I'll be able to get my hands on them. So I guess I'll go with Jade Legacy. Yeah. And the final question, or request, I guess, is to tag your fellow constant readers. So I would pick Megan at Megan's Reading Revelations. I don't know if she's done this tag, but if she hasn't, I'm tagging her. I'm also tagging Ariel over at Reading and Whatnot. And I am going to tag Allie at Allie Rizzo. So you can find links to their channels in the description below. And that is going to be it, guys. I hope you have an amazing day. Keep reading more books, and I'll chat with you soon.